What up brothers, it's Clipper King returning. Welcome back to my channel for another new review. As you can see, the figures in front of you are the Hot Toys exclusive Shadow Trooper and the Medicom Toys Shadow Trooper. Also a massive thank you to start with to a guy in the Facebook community called Darren Harity, a guy I have sold to in past, and I believe I bought the Iron Man Mark 6 from. Could be wrong there, but I think that's right. So yeah, guy I've dealt with before, sent me a message a couple of weeks since, would you be interested in reviewing? He said the Hot Toys version first, and I said yeah, definitely. And he also said, can I send you the Medicom so you can do a comparison? So I said yeah, no problem. I will review them definitely, and I'll send them you straight back. So that is what I'd planned to do. Anybody who saw the unboxing saw that the Medicom version had a little problem, which has led me basically to send a message back to Darren and said, look, this is a little bit faulty, this Medicom one. I've took it out of box, this situation. He says, well, to be honest, the figure since I've bought it's been in storage with some of my other figures. He says the Hot Toy ones, I've opened it, had a look at it, but never had it out of the box. So you're basically seeing the figures as I've got them. So I told him the situation with the Medicom version, and he says, well, if you still want to review it, do it. I'm not bothered about the problems it's got. I've heard about these problems before, and I know it's not down to you. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So I had planned to set this up and do a comparison. I'm going to say that's not the case. I'm basically going to score up the Hot Toys version because it's a really solid figure. And I'm going to basically tell you why the Medicom one's a piece of shit that should be avoided at all costs. So, like I said, I've done my thank you, I've done my apology. I've got to apologise to everybody who owns this figure, because this, if you're hoping for a good score, is never going to get it, and I'll go through the reasons why. What I will say, if you're planning on getting this version, or you've already got it, it is a, like I said, a solid figure, but I will tell you what I like and my nitpicks on that one also. So like I say, you will get a full score on the Hot Toys one, not so much the Medicom, because the sooner I can put that back in box and fuck it off to somebody else, the better, because that might be the worst figure I've ever had in this fucking cabinet. And that is a fact. Like I said, you guys know without me telling you, I'm not going to sugarcoat out just because there's somebody else's figure. I'm always asked for my opinion, and I always do get honestly, as you know. So if you find some of my rants a little bit funny, you might like this review. And Medicom, if you're watching, fucking cover your ears, because you're not going to be happy. So we'll roll straight on. We'll cover all the categories, and we'll see where we end up. Rolling on to source material, and as you know, both figures come from Star Wars, or from the Star Wars license. And I did go backwards and forwards on the score for this figure, or these figures if you like, simply because if I was scoring an Han Solo or Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader from Star Wars, then they're what I would consider key characters. The primary characters, they tell the story and move the story along. I would have to give them a 5, just because Star Wars is just so high in popular culture. Everybody knows it, it's basically become the world's mythology. So I would have been happy to give him a 5. Now if you think about a Stormtrooper, and I'm talking about a white Stormtrooper, or the secondary character even, I would say no, because then you would be looking at the likes of Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett, those sort of characters. So not massive, but have a role to play. Stormtroopers, in my opinion, are basically background dressing. They're just there to try and emphasise the power of the Empire. And that's the way I see them. I would have also given them an higher score had they been white, because then I think that they're more iconic. But the figures basically replicate figures that I honestly, as I stand without watching Star Wars now, can't even remember what scene the Shadow Predator were in. So that is how little known it is. And I've always sort of come up against this when I'm scoring out the Iron Men, because you see them so shortly, they're never explained. And that is pretty much the case with these. They are instantly recognisable because, like I said, the Star Wars license is so strong. But as a standalone character, they're very, very menial characters, so to speak. So I am only going to give them a 1 for source material. Some of you are thinking, well, Star Wars is so good. If you'd listen to what I've said, I'm not scoring the license on this one. I'm just scoring it as a standalone figure. So like I said, it has been captured well, although it's come from a figure in the film. And Hot Toys do this a lot with the exclusives. They pick really secondary characters or sort of backup characters, so people normally wouldn't buy them, but the fact that there's got an exclusive sticker on the box, they think, oh well, I'll get it because the price might go up because it's limited. That's not always the case. But like I said, just to score the character as a standalone piece, I've got to give the source material only a 1 out of 5. Moving on to the packaging, as we peel away, you can see that it's basically a black and charcoal coloured box with the artwork at the bottom. moving up to the chrome style Star Wars symbol, and then the sort of chrome dotted effect for the Shadow Trooper that comes inside. Quite nice artwork, although it is really limited because there's nothing really on the sides. On top, again, just the Star Wars graphics, and it is basically just a shoebox design. Pretty good cardboard, use of cardboard should I say, and also I think the exclusive is a thing that will catch your eye. So yeah, quite nice, nothing outstanding. The inlay slip is the only other artwork that you get, and it's basically just an half and half sheet with the graphics on the right hand side and just one side of the Shadow Trooper's face. Like I said, quite nice, nothing that I ain't seen before, nothing that's going to blow my mind. It is functional, and I suppose the artwork, some would consider it cool, so I'd be happy to go along the middle line and give it a 3 out of 5. As I said earlier, I'm not really scoring the Medicom version, but I will show you anyway. The Medicom is what Medicom do. I had the Real Action Heroes Wolverine from The Last Stand about 4 years ago, and the box were identical. Same sort of 5-panel box with a Velcro opening, sort of window inside, obviously the figure's out. Very limited artwork or non-existent artwork other than the Star Wars graphics. Show you the back. Again, just the credits. Shittest cardboard probably that you can get, or lowest ply. Nothing presentational about it at all really, other than the fact that it says Star Wars on it, so it might draw somebody to it if they saw it on a shelf somewhere in a shop. That is not even the biggest nitpick with the packaging. As I showed you on the unboxing, this is the inlay clamp. Now when the packaging does this to a figure and basically melts its shoulder pads to the inner plastic, I'm thinking to me saying, where's the little bag of them, you know, them moisture things, them little Hot Toys candies as we call them. It's like a little white bag with pellets inside. That draws the moisture out while the figure's closed. That's what I believe. This ain't even got one, and this really, really fucking needs one, because as you can see, you can't touch the figure against anything without its shoulder pad sticking to it. It's like, while I'm not doing it now, I've got it on the desk, on Callum's desk, waiting to be filmed next, and I can't stand it against Holt because the shoulders just glue themselves to everything. It's just like do you know the black slime what climbs on Venom in Spider-Man 3? That's what his shoulder pads feel like. And like I said, when the packaging does that to the figure, I'm thinking, fucking something's got to change. Like I said, I'm not even going to score it because I think my points make it clear enough. Moving on to the lightness, and we'll start off with a strong point. If you look at the Hot Toys one, I think that they've recaptured the mask really nicely, but not only that, they've also got the head in proportion, or so I believe. If I move back to get you the full figure in shot, he don't look too balloon-headed, not like this little fuck. His head rides way too high. It's also as big as his body. Basically just a really poor attempt. Just to explain this one, I think the reason for that is inside the helmet there is like a sort of a faux human head sculpt. So they've tried to make the head big enough and the opening to the head wide enough so there is an head inside. That's probably why it's so oversized. What I will also say on this one is the paintwork on it is piss poor. And I mean piss poor to the fucking biggest extreme. It looks like the black paint on it's been done with a brush. And I don't think I've seen paintwork on a 1/6 scale figure as bad as that for quite a long time. Where this one is very, very clean looking. And even the appearance of any battle damage on this one just takes it to another level. I think the eyes look clean. The sort of staggered silver line across the nose, and then the breathing section at the front just looks very clean. The use of the silver with the black looks very impressive. But like I said, this one, do you know what it looks like to me? And this is possibly the biggest insult I can get. When I was a kid, about 2 or 3, I remember Star Wars were massive, and you used to be able to buy bubble bath, and you'd unscrew the helmet, and then there'd be like a little cap inside, and you'd unscrew that, and it'd be full of like, basically like washing up liquid, bubble bath, like I said. This is very, very close to that standard. And when these come out, these are around about the same price as Hot Toys. I looked, for the sake of this review, at how much they cost now, and you can pick one of these up for about 100 quid, 120 quid. For that price, I would say, just send a message to the seller and just put LOL about 1,000 times and said, what the fuck are you praying for? Because if anybody sees that at that price and thinks, oh, I think I'll get myself a Medicom Shadow Trooper, I would say you're fucking mental. Because that price, you could buy that. You could buy that for less than you could buy that, which is like the personification of fucking insanity for me. And I know that were a big word for some of my viewers. But yeah, going back to this one, I think Hot Toys have done it really well, and it also gives me confidence that if this is how good the black version looks, I think the white ones are going to look pretty bang on and pretty iconic. So on the lightness, I've looked and looked, and there's no way that I can mark it down, because I just think the scale is everything, and obviously the formation of where the eyes are to the nose and that sort of thing, the proportions and all that. I just think on this one it is pretty perfect, so I would have to give the lightness a 5 out of 5. I'll just show you the pose on that. Just got his blaster up pretty tight to his shoulder. Just got him spread legged. Alright, quite nice. This one, I won't be touching that. It'll be staying like that because I'm scared shitless of touching his shoulder pads. But I will show you that in a minute because I'm moving on to the outfit. Moving on to the outfits. Just give you a look up and down first. As you can see, the Hot Toys version is on the stand, which it comes with. But because the Medicom version, the stand is still in the bag, I didn't want to open that. Just for the sake of setting it up for this review, I wanted to leave it bagged. So there is obviously a size difference there. On the same level, they'd be pretty close. I would say Hot Toys. Let's have a look. Just be careful where you pick this Medicom one up, because you don't want it to glue to your hands. It is still same stand. It is undersized, I would say. Right, we'll start off with this first. Like I said, I think the helmet is oversized. The outer shoulder pads are like glue, and I'm going to show you the absolute downside and why I would never ever buy this. I would sooner teabag a bear trap than buy this figure, and the reason why. The chest section looks like it's been painted with a fucking gloss brush, you know, like you do your skirting boards with or your doors in your house. It looks like somebody finished off doing that, decorating it house, and then decided to paint his chest section. So poorly done. The armour don't interlock really well, as you can see. The chest section down here doesn't even cover this ab section. So again, poorly done. Move down to his belt, which again, sloppy paint. Moving, looking at his legs basically look like they've been to a plumber's shop, got some black piping or lagging, and basically just cut it down to fit. So it looks like he's got some black painted bog rolls, you know, them bog roll fitted, like down centre of toilet roll. Looks like he's got them, you know, when a kid makes his own costume. That pretty much is the Medicom version. And then the shoes, just pretty much black boots. Now, I'm trying to think of one thing I might like about it. I don't mind the appearance of this rubber underneath here, although it's very, very rugged up, so it does look messy still. But I think sort of the rubber underneath looks slightly more realistic to me than the material, the lycra material that Hot Toys use. So that might be considered a plus point. The hand sculpts are terrible and look like Barbie hands. Really, really undersized. So let me bring it forward so I get the full lighting so I can show you. When I took this out of the box on whatever day, I unboxed it and I showed straight away that the shoulders had stuck to the inner box. I then told Darren, like I said, look, this paint's still wet. How long you had it? He says, I've not had it too long, but the figure's been out a while. I looked on the box and I think this figure come out in 2006, so it's nearly 10 years old, if that's right. And I'm thinking, why is the paint still dry? It's like that. If I touch it now, I'm going to touch it for the sake of review. Look, it's tacky as fuck. It just basically sticks to my finger. Now, if I turn it round, the worst part is, as soon as I did that unboxing, I put it straight back in the box. And look at fucking state of that. It's speckled and it's like it's pulled the eye gloss section off. And on the other side as well, look, can you see where it goes from eye gloss to the really flat looking black? That's basically where the shoulder pad is stuck to the box. And I think there's nothing I can do about it. I've got to send him this figure back. So other than fucking wrap it in, I don't know, I couldn't wrap it in tissue paper because it'd just stick to that. I've got to put it back in box to send it in back. And it's made me a fucking nervous wreck because I'm thinking, what can I do? This figure's came down in its own box. It's packaged well. It's not been damaged by post, but its own box is fucking it up. And I've got to put it back into that box to send it in back. And I think, what a pile of fucking garbage. I want to do him a favour, put it outside on my yard, run up to him with Timberland boots on and kick fucking living snot out of it. That's what I want to do, so he ain't got to have this figure. But on flip side, I know this figure's worth 100 quid. And it's not worth that. It's not worth a fucking tenner. So that's the point. Moving down, for some reason I don't know, the paint doesn't stick anywhere else. Everything else feels really dry. Just them shoulder pads feel wet as fuck. It does have the rifle harness on its back, although again, very cheaply done. Very, very 10 bob material and not a good figure at all. So let's put that out of the way and get on to some. Look, it's like that. I can't even lean it against the Hulk because I don't want it to fucking stick to the back of the cabinet. This one on flip side is very, very nice and possibly its strong suit of this figure. Like I said, I think the helmet is in proportion with the width of the chest and the length of the torso. They did include, I'm not sure what this shoulder pad's called, but in the film it's more what the like the sand troopers would wear. You know, I'm thinking early part of New Hope with the dewbacks when they're riding them. I'm sure they have these shoulder pads on. I will say as well that that is removable. What you do is you pop the helmet off, which is just on a ball joint, and then there's like a strap that goes around that side of the neck. You basically tip that off over the thing and then slide it down his arm. So that is nicely removable. I will say on this one, there is sort of battle damage on it, and it's done with a nice silver, so you can see sort of ear and ear. Really nice touch. On the shoulder pads also, really well done. Not so much on the arm, although there's a little bit on the lower arm there. So you would think this is the one that's been sticking to the box. It's not the case. This is painted like that, and Hot Toys have done a really, really good job. Again, the armour interlocks really nicely. The belt, I will show, because around the back, is removable. This canister will lift off like so because it's just on these two hooks, as you see, and then it's just a velcro fastening which you can undo, which I will undo if I can get my fingers into it, and then the belted section along with the gun comes off really nicely. Better choice of pleather for the blaster holster. These cartridge pouches are removable. It's just a case that the little black plastic thing inside, it's just held on with an elastic, so you can have those on and off. The choice is yours. You can have the belt on and off. The choice is yours. And the padding, like I said, that choice is yours also. I prefer it on because it looks a little bit out of ordinary. Again, the sculpt, even on the back, is really good and in proportion. And what I will say, and this will probably lead me into the articulation, is the sizes of each piece of armour is a separate piece. So like here, from the leg down to the knee, is really good. It fits the figure really well, yet when you try to bend its leg or put it into a kicked position, the armour will move up and down very naturally, so keeping it pretty much in the right position. Same with the arms. Same on both legs, the different design on the knees. I'm not sure why Stormtroopers have those, but they do. And they've recaptured it really well. Again, the outer shoulder pad on this one is attached with an elastic in there, so although it will move when posing, it automatically goes back and foams back around the shoulder. This one, let me see if I can touch it without it sticking to me, is just attached at the top, so it does move. So just to demonstrate that for you. Like I said, the underbody on this is like just a plain black lycra, which is really nice looking, and you don't really notice it anyway because of the raised armoured sections. I do actually prefer the rubberized look, but don't ever think for a second that means that there's anything better about that figure than this one, because that's honestly not the case. But yeah, I do like the outfit. Even the sculpt on the boots is a lot better. They aren't just being lazy and just put a plain black boot. There is still sculpting on it, and it does look really realistic to the pictures I've seen. Another thing I will mention at this point is the hands. Every hand comes with this sort of hand protector glued onto it. The hands do look very well in scale and do pop on and off really nicely. So all in all, the outfit, it's pretty stunning, to be honest. There is a little bit of an hindrance when it comes to articulation, but I'll cover that in articulation. But just the look on the outfit, the Hot Toys one, I'm going to mark it down for one reason, no, for two reasons. Simply because it's not the white version. The white version to me is the iconic one. So that would be a little niggly nitpick, and I know the white version's coming, so you can't mark it down for that. The only reason I say that is because it's eye gloss black. Let's show you. If I touch there, it's an absolute fingerprint magnet. During this review, I've already wiped this 3 times to get fingerprints off it. I don't know if light will pick it up, but take my word for it, it is a fingerprint magnet. So that would be the reason I would mark it down. Other than that, a 4 out of 5 for the Hot Toys, and the Medicom one don't even rank. Right, moving on to articulation, and I've gone hands-free. Right, I'm going to try and cover everything because I know there'll be certain questions what I'm going to get asked. I know them for a fact. So the first question I'm guessing I'm going to get with this is, does Luke Skywalker's head fit on it? Therefore, when I buy a Stormtrooper, the white version, can I put my Han Solo head on, and can I put my Luke Skywalker head on? That was the question I was thinking, so I thought, well, I might as well have a look. So, the head pops off really easily. Looking inside is a ball joint. The neck is just a neck peg with then just a neck joint with a slightly longer neck peg on top, and then it has this black cushioning, so to speak. Now, I believe that I think to put Luke's head on that, you would basically have to pull out all this neck section and then try and put Luke's head on. Now, if it were my figure, I would try it, but I don't want to on this one, simply because if I pull this neck section up and off, this collar, which is tightly wrapped around this neck section, it'd be an absolute nightmare to get back inside. So I'm not. So what I'm saying is, I'm guessing that the Luke will go on, because I'm thinking at the bottom of this neck section there will be another ball joint which then the Luke head would fit onto. That's what I'm thinking. So other than that, I'm not going to go no further, simply because it's not my figure. If it were, I'd do it, you know I would. This is what I was talking about, the strap on there. You just lift it up and over like so, pull up the arm, and then slide that down. So it's just a piece like so. So we'll carry on doing the articulation with that off. The shoulders do only really rise to there, simply because by then this section starts clashing with the upper arm section. Again, you could probably force it a tiny bit more. So I'm thinking there, and then it's going to start either scratching or pushing sections out of the way. So I don't know. That is as far as I would go on the shoulders. The shoulders will pull forward and round, as you can see, and go back, which is really, really good. If I put them down by your side, they will come forward to sort of there. Again, it's more the suit stopping it than the body underneath. So I'll put them back down. Elbows do have a double bend, and as you can see, if you're doing that, make sure the upper arm goes underneath the shoulder section, and then your double bend will work quite nicely. Straighten that like that. Hands rotate, pivot, and do swap on and off really nicely, like I said. Inside the body, because of this is made up of a solid piece that covers the torso, so from his groin to sort of upper rib cage, and then a piece that's sort of, it's like over his shoulder kind of thing. It is hard sculpted plastic, but if you look here, there is a split, as you can see, so that could be lifted off him. But while it's in place, it does stop any real rotation or any crunch. So that's expected. That's the suit, that's not the body. So, yeah. Legs, upper part of the legs. Again, you can see these sections of armour with the cutaways here, so you can kick up somewhere there. You would be able to go back only to there. Knees, again be careful because you don't want to clash. That knee's not going much further back than that, because then the lower part of the armour starts clashing with the upper. And then I'm thinking it's going to be the same on that. That one goes a little bit higher, because as you notice, the shapes are different of the armour. As you see, this one comes down and then up. That's going to clash with that sooner. So looking at that. The feet are just on a ball joint, so there is forward and back, rock, swivel, so everything you would expect from his feet. So I am quite impressed with that for an armoured figure, although I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's a 5 out of 5 situation, because that would be bullshitting you. It's not a 5 out of 5 situation. I'm saying it's good for an armoured figure, but there is restrictions. So you could really dock from the outfit, or you could dock it from the articulation. I'm going to dock it from the articulation and only give the articulation a 3 and a possible 5. Right, moving on to extras, and I'll also do the value and probably give you the total scores here. Right, if I have a look down, pretty much showing what the Hot Toys one brings, and then these 3 little items over here are what the Medicom one brings. So firstly, we'll start with the Hot Toys one. Obviously, the better looking figure of the two, without a doubt, by a long way as well. In fact, different class altogether, because I would say this is an adult collectible. This is, if Al Lennon were here and that were mine, I would tell him to go and chuck that in his toy box and play with it outside if he wants. That is how I view that figure. This one, Al Lennon won't be putting his hands on it. So that is the difference when I mean like totally different leagues. Moving down, the Hot Toys one brings the Diorama Base, which is a nice touch, and I will say as well, the first time I've seen this, it does have a nameplate, although I haven't covered it over because it's still got this scratch protector on it, but on this one, it will, oh, come off. Take your word for it, I'll get it off in a minute. You do nip it together and the name plaque will pop off, and you're thinking, why does it pop off? Because if you buy a few Stormtroopers or the Darth Vader, I'm thinking all the bases will interlink. Now, I've been asking for interlinking bases since probably the Berserker Predator came out, and I said they should have included a diorama base that if you buy all 3 Predators, you link them together and you've got the camp, like a camp diorama. So finally, like I said, they probably just watched that review now, Hot Toys, and they thought, fucking Uncle Clipper's right, we should have interlinking diorama bases. So they have done it on this. Like I said, nice touch, and I'm quite impressed by it. Moving down, we see his belt with the ammo pouches on. Like I said, these little black tabs that hang down, basically push through the elastic on the back of there, and then you can have his ammunition pouches on the side. I will also say, because I never covered it on his outfit, the faux leather that his blaster goes into does also feature a magnet connection there. As you see, nice and strong. Moving down, the black canister, which just slips over the top of the back of the belt, as I showed. Moving down to his blaster, the stock will swing underneath the gun and connect there. You see, so there is articulation on the weapon. Really nice touch. If I show you, look, it goes under there, and then it will fold back on itself like such. I will say the paint apps on this as well are really good, and I think the scale of it to the figure is really nice. So I thought that would be worth a mention. 2 ammo pouches, set of ramp pegs, instruction manual, which basically just tell you how to attach the ammo pouches, and also his shoulder pad. Then we've got the sort of flat left hand, doesn't have a flat right hand, which I can't understand. He gets the fists on the right and left. He gets the trigger for right and left, and also the sort of barrel cradling right and left, or relaxed hands if you like. Don't understand why there isn't another hand same as that, because they normally give you a pair, but they haven't. But anyway, quite a nice array of extras, but I will say also a little bit confusing, because once you put his belt on, you put that onto his belt, and you put that on the belt, you basically got his blaster, his hands, and his diorama base. So To score it, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's not massive, it's not a massive amount, and there's not a lot of bang for your buck, so to speak, although everything that's in is pretty much necessity to the figure. Moving on to this little jabroni, like I said, the figure is a pile of dog shit, hot steaming dog shit as well at that. It comes with these two well undersized hands. If I show you the Hot Toys hand compared to the Medicom hand, it's like chalk and cheese basically. They do come with a peg attached, as you can see. So he comes with relaxed hands, trigger right, and then I think that's either thumbs up or to cradle underneath the barrel of his blaster. Moving on to his blaster, I can't even look at this without laughing. First thing that struck me when I took it out of the box is, barrel's not even straight, he's fucking firing banana blasts. He's bent upwards, it's fucking ridiculous. So that scope to start with is a pile of shit. Now, just to sort of show you that Uncle Clipper's not full of shit, and I'm not just picking on this for any particular reason other than the fact that it is shit. Look at difference there. And these figures released round about the same price. Can you believe that? Like I say, at a minute there is a price difference between them, and that is understandable. But this is what I'm saying. This is Medicom, this is Hot Toys. And just in that shot there, pretty much tells you what you need to know. I'm not picking on Medicom, because I basically don't even fucking bother with them. The Medicom figures just won't get in this collection. That's basic gist of it, and I don't want to sound like a fucking collecting snob, because that's not the case. And I'm aware I'm swearing a lot in this review, but that's just how it is. Like I said, I can't say no more. I'd just be picking on Medicom if I said any more. So that's what you get. Like I said, I wouldn't even score the Medicom one. The Hot Toys one, I'm happy to give it a 3 out of 5. I'm going to keep it rolling and talk about value. Like I said, on release, these figures would have been weighing about 10 or 20 pound of each other. That's how I see it. With the shipping and to get it to England, they would have been round about the same release price. This one now goes for between 100 and 120. I would say if someone offers you one, me personally, I would say no. If somebody said to me, can I send you one? I'd say, you can send me one to review, but then I'm going to give it away, or I'm going to give it to somebody else. That is what I would do, because I won't display that figure in here. And like I said, I don't want to come across snobby or whatever, and if you've got that figure, I'm sorry to you, I'm not picking on it unjustly. Everything I've said about it, I honestly believe about it. And remember as well, let me just remind you that these figures have been sent to me free of charge just to review. I could have been a pussy and said, oh yeah, it's alright, it's not too bad, but I think it's a piece of shit, so I'm going to say, it's a piece of shit. I'm sorry, Darren, it's your figure and it's coming back to you, but I honestly feel it's a piece of shit. So that is why I'm saying it. The Hot Toys, on the other hand, like I said, is a very solid figure. So let's talk about the value on this. I spoke to Anthony just before Christmas when I realised how much I'd spent up to Christmas and what I would be spending over Christmas and so on and so forth, and then I'm looking at the money I've got left. In my mind, I'm thinking, come New Year, I want to start my channel back up again. So I'm thinking Star-Lord, Falcon, this, the new Tony Stark, maybe Igo, which I offered to review. I knew I wanted the Spade J and so on and so forth. Now, the prices that came back to me, the Star-Lord, if I'm honest, were well overpriced. I wanted Star-Lord, but at that price, it's not happening. So anybody who wants to see me review a Star-Lord, you're pretty much going to have to wait for a price to come down or send me one to review, because I ain't paying that for a Star-Lord, no way. Falcon, exactly the same. Falcon to me is not a key enough character for it to be 220 quid. So again, the Falcon, I'd like to review it, but I won't be spending 220 quid on that. This and the Tony Stark were round about 170. That shipped from Hong Kong to here, just because there's no demand for them and they're easy to come by. I can understand it, I understand the pricing, but although that's closer to what I would want to be paying for Hot Toys, I still think that it's about £20 overpriced. That's me personally. If you could get a Stormtrooper, be it black or white, for around 150, then I think you've got a really good figure. At 170, I would say probably leave it on shelf for now, wait for them to filter through, because I think there'll be figures that people pick up and they'll be trying to be selling through Facebook groups pretty soon. That is what I think. So I do think it is a little bit overpriced. Also, if I'm taking into account what you actually get for your 170 quid, I'm going to say not a lot. And I will also say this, and this really leads me on to the white versions. People who are buying a white Stormtrooper for the collection and are willing to pay between 150 and 170 for it, they're doing it with two ideas in mind. First idea being, like I said, swapping it out for a Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in disguise. If that's what you want to do you really want to put them two figures in £170 disguise suits? Because I'm starting to think, no, I wouldn't. It's not a strong enough look for it to warrant two Stormtroopers at £170 each. That's what I think. The other reason that you would want the white Stormtroopers, or a black one and a white one, or whatever, would be to flank your new Darth Vader from Hot Toys. That's what I'm thinking. You wouldn't want it to display on its own. You'd want it to go either side of your Darth Vader to get that nice fucking Imperial look, so to speak. Again, I'm going to ask you, do you want two £170 backdrop figures to show you strength of your Darth Vader? Because I'm thinking that's top side of ridiculous. And by that I mean, if the figures were £130 each, think, oh yeah, fuck it, I'll chuck two £130 figures outside of me Darth Vader, it'll look awesome. When it gets round £170, I'm starting to think, no, because you're paying key character prices for like third tier characters. That's what I honestly feel. So on the value, I'm going to be honest and give it only a 2 out of 5. Like I said, it's not massively overpriced, but it doesn't bring a lot for your money, and it's not an high enough key character for me to warrant paying that. So on the Hot Toys one, I will say it's got a really reasonable score for a low key character of 21 out of possible 35. It's never going to break no records, but it is a really nice figure, and thanks to Darren for letting me see it. The Medicom one, I've said more than enough about that, so I'm not even going to bother. If you can pick it up, like I said, to me, I'd be recommending under the £150 mark. But like I said, if you want it bad, you'll pay what you want to pay. So for now, this is Clipper King, and I'm out of here.